Good morning, gamers. Welcome back to another video. Day 60 something. I've completely lost count of where we're up to at this point, but we're bringing back the guides. There's a lot of new people to this channel this year that have not seen a EVscape guide, but it's basically where the channel was built from. I made guides on how to kill bosses and do stuff like that. So we're jumping back into the guides today with a Vorkath guide. Let's crack in. I hope you guys enjoy. Alrighty guys, we're back with another guide. I haven't done a guide on this channel in so long, and like this entire channel was built on guides. Back in the day, that's all I did. I used to do different boss guides. I used to do like house favor guides and like skill guides and stuff like that. I'm going to be getting back into guides this year, and one of the most requested guides I get is to do a Vorkath guide for people that haven't done Vorkath before. Obviously, I have a Zulrah guide from back in the day. That's one of my most popular videos ever. And I always get people messaging me like, love you Zulrah guide, you know, can you chuck up a Vorkath guide as well? So that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, before we get into the video, guys, we're going to be going to my player-owned house a lot in this video. I'm on my main account right now because I don't have Elite Void on my alt account, which is what I normally PVM on. And because I normally PVM on my alt account and not on here, I don't have the best pool, okay? So before you feel like leaving your fucking comments like, ew, well, you have a 4 bill bank and you don't have a max player-owned house. I do, alright? Just not on this account. Give me a break. Now, if you're looking up a guide on how to kill Vorkath, I'm going to assume that you already have the requirements for it, so I'm not going to bother going through all the requirements of killing Vorkath, but obviously you need to have finished Dragon Slayer 2. Now, this is going to be an extremely newbie guide for the most part. It's just going to be people for their first ever time Vorkath kill. We're going to be going over the easiest methods to actually get the boss down. It's exactly what I did with my Zulrah guide, and I think if you're looking for a more advanced guide, you've probably already killed Vorkath a few times in the past. This isn't the guide for you. This is going to be for the first time killers. Now, I am going to go over all of the gear setups that you can have. Obviously, some of the gear in here is quite expensive, and then we'll just slowly go down and down and down to people that can't afford the most expensive gear. If it's your first time killing Vorkath, you're most likely not going to be able to afford the best gear, but just in case you can afford the best gear, I'm going to show everything. So the first gear setup is the absolute best gear setup. I almost fucked that up straight away and wore a Anguish when you should be wearing a Salve Amulet. So here's the first gear setup, guys. Basically the best setup you can have for Vorkath. You're going to have Elite Void. If you don't have normal Void or Elite Void, just go and fucking get it. There's no debate here. Void is free. Just fucking grind it out. It's like 14 hours time. Just get Void. Trust me, it's worth it. Next up, you obviously have your Salve Amulet EI. This costs around 800,000 Nightmare Zone points to imbue, and the Salve Amulet itself is completely free, so most of the outfit is completely free. Then obviously you have the Archer's Ring. If you don't have an Archer's Ring and you need to downgrade, I would suggest going with something like a Granite Ring maybe, just for some extra defense bonuses. There's nothing that really compares to the Archer's Ring in terms of ranged offensive, so you would just go for defensive bonuses if you don't have the Archer's Ring. Obviously you want that imbued as well. Pegasian Boots, best in slot Ranger Boots, and you also have the Dragonfire Ward and Dragon Hunter Crossbow. Once again, these are two quite expensive items, so you're not going to expect everyone to have these, but you definitely want these. If you can only afford the Dragon Hunter Crossbow and not the Ward, just use a regular anti-dragon shield, not a Dragon Fire shield. A Dragon Fire shield has negative ranged attack bonus, which you definitely do not want when you're facing Vorkath. And on top of that, if you have the Arva's Assembler from killing Vorkath, you want that, but if you don't, just use the Arva's Accumulator. Now, before we move on to the other gear setup, just a quick little tip. If you have a Dragonfire Ward, and let's say you die using the shield and you need to recharge it, you can actually use this new item called a Bottled Dragon Breath. It costs 10,000 GP on the Grand Exchange, and you just use it on your shield, and it's fully charged again. Absolutely easy as that, boys. Now, the next gear setup, literally the only two things that you can change here is by taking the Toxic Blowpipe and then taking the Ancient D'hide Boots. Now, if you can't afford a Blowpipe, do not go to Vorkath. As simple as that. You definitely do not want to be doing Vorkath with a Rune Crossbow. It's just not going to be a good time. go out and do some other sort of PvM until you can afford a blowpipe. But if you can't take the Dragon Hunter crossbow, the blowpipe is 100% a necessity. Now, in terms of ammunition, with the blowpipe, you want to be using adamant darts. There's no real reason to use anything higher than that. Obviously, you are going to get quicker kills, but it's quite expensive to use anything higher than adamant in your blowpipe. And for the Dragon Hunter crossbow, you're going to be using ruby dragon bolts for the majority of the kill, and then you're going to be switching over to the diamond dragon bolts afterwards. So now that we have the gear set up, guys, let's go ahead and figure out how we're going to get there. I imagine that if you've done the quest, you probably already know how to get there, but just in case you don't, I'll show you guys all the different methods you can use in order to get to Vorkath. Okay, we're going to start off with probably the worst of the three methods you can use to get to Vorkath, but still a pretty decent method. Just grab a house tab with a scroll of redirection, or move your house to Relica, teleport home, and then you're already here. All you then have to do is run north into Relica and then run all the way up to the docks. Like I said, guys, this is the longest method of the three, but still relatively short and not too bad. Now, the next method is to use the Lunar Isle teleport in your house, but unfortunately, I don't have the Lunar Isle teleport in my house. I'm also don't have my house in Remington. Now, if you have a Lunar Isle teleport in your house and you use it, you'll be teleported to this spot right here. You can run up after your trip and actually bank here with Bird's Eye Jack. Get out all your potions and stuff like that. So you can bank here with Bird's Eye Jack, and once you are done, you can try and use the next bank booth over, and if you haven't completed the Fremennik Elite Diaries, you will actually be kicked off the island for not having a Seal of Passage. Once you get kicked off the island, you'll get kicked off to about here, and you'll have to run up and travel with Torfin here, and you're there again. And finally, the best method is the Fremennik Sea Boots 4, received by completing the Fremennik Elite Diary. You just click teleport on these, you get an unlimited amount of teleports per day, and it teleports you straight here, and you can head on in. Now that we've figured out how to get to Vorkath, we're going to go ahead and jump on into the inventory setups. Okay, now here is the setup for the Dragon Hunter crossbow method. You want to have your ruby dragon bolts equipped and then some diamond dragon bolts to switch in the inventory as well. Now, I like to take one Saradomin brew. It's really unnecessary to take this, but I use it to get my defense up and start the kill on 115 hit points, so I rarely have to eat during the kill. Range potion, anti-venom, and a extended anti-fire. Now, on top of that, just use monkfish. You really don't need any better food. Unless, of course, it is your first time and you are taking a bit of damage, then you can take manta rays or anglerfish or something like that. And I also like to bring a couple combo food, Karumba ones, just for faster healing. I don't necessarily need to combo eat up because I'm being damaged too much. It's just for when the white flame phase comes along and you get frozen, I can double eat and get up to basically full hit points from about 60. And of course, the blowpipe setup is pretty much exactly the same, except you don't have to take the extra bolts. You might want to use better food for this method just because you have the lower defense bonuses of not having the shield. However, just the extra one piece of food should be fine. You should be able to get relatively the same amount of kills per inventory once you get pretty proficient at Vorkath. For the most part, it's not running out of food that will make you leave the trip. It's running out of inventory space to pick up the loot. So now that we have the inventory setups figured out, let's go jump on into the kills and go over all of Vorkath's different attacks. Before we continue, guys, I should mention that the rune pouch contains lore runes, dust runes, and chaos runes. We have those in there because we need to cast the Crumble Undead spell during the fight, and afterwards we can use the lore runes and the dust runes to teleport to our house, and that's going to allow us to restore our stats. And also teleport out. Now, another thing to mention, once again, before we get into the kill, is that when people are using the blowpipe method, some people prefer to take a Bandos Godsword and avoid melee helm switch to get a couple Bandos Godsword specs off just with the blowpipe. Personally, I don't think this is worth it. I find that I get less kills when I use the Bandos Godsword because I normally use the Toxic Blowpipe for the special attack and get a little bit of healing off. So I personally don't think the Bandos Godsword is worth it, but you can take the Bandos Godsword along, test it out, and if you feel it's better for you, then go ahead and take it. Now, Vorkath has 8 different attack styles, so there's quite a few that you're going to have to learn. However, one of those attack styles is melee, and since we won't be going within melee distance, we won't be covering that one today. The first two we're going to go over is his standard ranged attack and his standard mage attack. The standard ranged attack looks like this. As you can see, it's a spiky ball that comes out of his mouth. And against this one, if you're using the blowpipe, you will not be praying. If you are using the Dragon Hunter crossbow and Dragon Fire shield, you'll be praying ranged against this attack, so you'll take no damage. Its second standard attack is the magic attack. As you can see, it's like a blue ball coming out of his mouth here. And against this one, using the blowpipe, you'll be praying, so you will take no damage. Now, the magic attack has a maximum hit of 30, and the ranged attack has a maximum hit of 35. Vorkath has 3 different types of standard Dragon Fire attacks. The first one is his plain base Dragon Fire attack, which is this orange Dragon Fire you see coming at me. If you have Protect from Magic up and a super anti-fire potion, you will only take a small amount of damage from his flames. And if you have a super anti-fire potion and a Dragon Fire shield without Protect from Magic, you will also take no damage. So you need 2 forms of anti-dragon fire protection, and one of them has to be a super anti-fire. Vorkath's second flame attack is the Venom Flame, which is going to inflict venom on you when it hits you. Obviously, when this happens, you just drink your anti-venom and you're just fine. It can't do any damage, once again, if you're dragon fired up, and it is this green-looking dragon fire. And finally, the last flame attack is the purple flame attack, which is going to deactivate all of your prayers when it hits you. You're going to have your quick prayers set, so as soon as this hits you, you can just turn your prayers back on and you will be fine. Now, the other attack is sort of in a league of its own. It is the Flame Bomb. Basically, as you can see, Vorkath is going to shoot this big bomb out of his mouth. All you have to do to completely avoid any damage is step 2 squares away from the square you were stood on when he does the attack. If you step 2 squares away, you'll take no damage. If you step 1 square away, you will take half damage, but this attack has a maximum hit of 121, regardless of whether you are anti-fired potion or not. Now, the final 2 attacks are the special attacks of Vorkath. These will occur every 7 attacks, so you will see 6 of the regular attacks that I've just gone through, and then 1 special attack, and then 6 regular attacks, and 1 special attack. They cannot happen at any other time. They're always in a pattern of 6. The first one we're going to go over is the Acid Phase. With this phase, Vorkath is going to shoot a bomb out of his mouth every single tick. These can hit up to 40 sometimes if you stop moving for 1 tick. So what you're going to want to do for this phase is go ahead and just walk back and forth, avoiding these acid pools on the ground. As you can see, these will do damage and heal Vorkath. And if you stop, you will take massive damage. So you want to be walking at all times. You can also do something called a Woox walk, but I will be going over that later. That is an advanced method. For the most part, you're just going to want to avoid these pools and do not stop moving. If you can't avoid a pool, just walk over it. Do not stop moving for the sake of avoiding a pool. You're going to take way more damage by stopping than you are going to be by going through the pool. So if you can't avoid a pool, definitely do not stop moving for it. The final attack that Vorkath has is the Freeze attack. Now, with this attack, he will shoot a white flame at you and you'll be frozen in place. He will also shoot a small frozen scorpion out of his mouth onto the ground and you will have to kill it. It has 38 hit points, and if you cast a Crumble Undead spell on it, it is a 1 hit every single time. It will always hit 38 unless you have a negative 64 magic bonus. So when you get frozen, you definitely want to kill the scorpion and then you can jump back onto Vorkath. Okay, now that we've gone over all the attacks that Vorkath can do, let's go over an actual kill. So first things first, if you're using crossbow, have your quick prayers set to ranged and rigor or eagle eye, depending on what you have. And then you want to wake Vorkath up and start attacking it. Make sure you have your diamond dragon bolts equipped. And if you get damaged with venom, make sure you eat up your venom. Count up your 6 attacks until he does his special. And when he does his special, depending on what it is how you react. If you get the white phase like we have here, eat up your food or double eat and then throw your Crumble Undead spell at the little minion. jump straight back onto Vorkath and keep attacking it. Now, you want to switch over from Ruby to Dragon Diamond Bolts after Vorkath gets to around 35%. It depends on your actual range level as to what percentage exactly you need to swap over. At 99 range, you want to swap over at exactly 273 hit points. But the lower your range is, the lower hit points you want to swap over. Now, there's not much else to killing Vorkath. If you get a bomb, move 2 squares out of the way. If you get the acid phase, just walk around for it. If you get the white flame phase, kill the thing. If you take damage, just eat up. It's literally as simple as that to killing Vorkath. The only other thing that we can go over for the Dragon Hunter crossbow method is something called the Woox walk, which is going to allow you to damage Vorkath during the acid phase. So as you can see in the clip here, we get the acid phase, and when we get the acid phase, we want to step 1 step over from where the acid will always land on the square that you're on. And as you can see, you step back all the way to the edge, attack Vorkath, and then step 2 squares further than that, and then head back to the wall. This is going to allow you to attack Vorkath during the phase, because when you click to attack Vorkath at the edge, you are actually outside of the distance that the crossbow can hit, and that's going to pull you back in as you attack Vorkath, allowing you to attack and walk in the same tick, and then you just move forward. Another thing that's worth mentioning is, as you can see, when I click to attack Vorkath, I'm actually 2 squares away from the wall. This is because the game registers that I'm stood on the square before I'm actually stood on the square. The best thing you can do to learn this is to turn on the tile indicators setting in RuneLite. Once the tile disappears, as you can see, it's a little green square on the ground. When that disappears, that shows when the game registers you as in that square. So you know as soon as the tile disappears, that's when you want to click back on Vorkath. Now, this isn't the most efficient way to do the Woox walk, because you are going to be missing a tick of attacking every single time you attack. The most efficient way to do the Woox walking is with the toxic blowpipe, which we will go over right now. As you see from the clip, guys, when the acid phase comes up, you do want to step, once again, 1 step over. Sometimes you might have to step 2, but for the most part, you can just step 1 step over and then step 1 step back towards the wall. And every single tick, you want to be clicking on Vorkath and then clicking back to the wall, making sure you are on the rapid attack style the whole time. This is going to allow you to attack every single 2 ticks as you normally would with the blowpipe. Now, where a lot of people go wrong with this method is they wait too long after the acid phase starts to start moving. As soon as you see Vorkath do his acid attack, you need to start moving or you're going to start taking damage. And another thing they do wrong is click way too quickly. The best thing you can do to combat clicking too quickly is to turn on your game sounds, and every single tick you will hear the attack of Vorkath hitting the ground, and that's going to allow you to know exactly when to click. You click as you hear the sound, you will always move at a 1 tick pace. Now, the only other difference between using the blowpipe and using the Dragon Hunter crossbow is when you're using the blowpipe, you want to have your quick press set to mage and rigor rather than range and rigor, because you are going to use that mage as the extra Dragonfire protection. If you don't use it as Dragonfire protection, you are going to take a lot of Dragonfire damage. Lastly, before we get into a full unedited kill to show you guys what it's like with the blowpipe, the last thing we need to go over is the death mechanics at Vorkath. If you die at Vorkath, you can get all of your stuff back, but you do have to pay a 100,000 GP fee to Torfin. Torfin is the man that is guarding the boat, or rows the boat, that will take you out to the Vorkath Island. So when you want to get your stuff back, you just go talk to him, pay the 100k fee, and you can get all of your stuff back. So for the most part, guys, they are all the mechanics you need to know when learning Vorkath. It is truly an easy boss to learn. However, it's very, very punishing in the fact that if you make one mistake, you can die very, very quickly. And there's quite a few different mechanics in the boss kill that can kill you pretty much in 1 second. So what we're going to do now is just go over a whole kill unedited, and I'll talk you guys through it with the blowpipe. It's exactly the same with the Dragon Hunter crossbow. Essentially, it's just a lot quicker kills, and the walk is a little bit different. I'm not going to do the Woox walk for this kill because I think the majority of people, it's their first time. They're going to want to not Woox walk it. So I'll just do the normal walk for this kill and we'll go through it. And I can sort of talk you guys through all the attacks that are happening as they are happening. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that your quick pres is set to Mage and Rigger. I go ahead and sip my my Saradoma Brew, Super Restore, Ranging Potion, and Super Anti-Fire. I do not drink my Anti-Venom until I get the Venom attack. And then I come stand back here, which is the furthest range for the Blowpipe, and just go ahead and attack. So this is a normal ranged attack we just got hit with. Obviously that can't damage us. The Flame attack can't damage us. The only thing that can actually hit us is this ranged attack, which has a max hit of 35, I believe. Well, that's what the wiki says anyway. But as you can see, we're about to come up to the special attack. It's going to be on the next attack since we've had 6 already, and the special attack is the white. So I click on the ground there, and I go ahead and attack the zombie spawn. I could eat as that happens, but my hit points are pretty high. I don't really need to eat there. There's the big bomb. Just have to move 2 steps out of the way twice in a row. And we managed to take no damage there. Once again, the ranged attack is the only one that can attack me. Once my hit points are down, I just throw my Blowpipe specs in, get a bit of hit points back up. And there should be one more attack here before we get the acid phase. And I'm just going to start walking. I can pretty much walk all the way to the wall here, which is really nice. And then just walk back. During this phase, I like to eat up, make sure I'm back at full health. Because I've got a lot of time in between clicks to go ahead and eat up and use my Super Restore potions. And there we go. The phase is over. Straight back on Vorkath. And we're half done already, boys. Like I said, it's a pretty easy boss. There's the Venom attack. Just go ahead and drink your anti-venom potion there. That should last you for about 2 kills now. And you're going to try and get more than 1 kill per trip after you're more proficient at it. There is the white attack, so click on the ground straight away so you stop attacking Vorkath and go ahead and throw the Crumble Undead in, and Bob's your uncle, boys. You just have to go ahead and hit Vorkath down. Once again, another bomb. Let's move out the way. Beautiful. Secondary bomb. Now, if you're good at walking, there is the purple one. Let's go ahead and turn our quick prayers back on. If you're good at doing the walk with the blowpipe, you can actually move out of the way of the bomb whilst also getting 2 attacks in on Vorkath. So if you are good at doing that, you can give that a crack, but for the most part, it's not super necessary to do that. Let's just go ahead and walk around during this phase, eat up, chuck a restore in there, and straight back on the boss. There we go. Let's move out the way of that bomb. And should be a few more hits here. Hopefully we don't go through another white flame phase. And we managed to get Vorkath down before that happens. 2 more hits here. And doesn't look like anything exciting is going to happen. There we go, boys. And that is how you do a Vorkath kill. Adamant Ore and Blue Wrath Talisman. I don't like it. So there we have it, guys. I figure this is a very fitting place to end the video where I've just died on a Vorkath trip. This is something you guys are going to have to get used to. You're not going to get it down in 1 kill. And even after you've done 837 kills, you're still probably going to die sometimes. It's just what happens. Sometimes you lose concentration, sometimes you mess up your clicks. Definitely just going to have to get used to the fact that you are going to die, and you're going to have to pay that 100k fee a few times. But Vorkath is a very, very profitable boss, and it's definitely worth learning. So I hope this helped you guys. If you did enjoy it, make sure you give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment letting me know that it helped you out. Hopefully this goes as well as my Zulrah guide. You guys really like the Zulrah guide, so hopefully I can help as many people with Vorkath as I did with Zulrah. A big shout out to my man Juice General. Cheers, mate. Hopefully I can help as many people with Vorkath as I did with Zulrah, and I'm going to start doing a bunch more bossing guides in the future, God Wars dungeons, stuff like that, just to help you guys out. So like I said, it's been a while since I've uploaded a guide to this channel, but I'm definitely going to be doing more of these, maybe 1 to 2 guides a week this year. It's definitely something I want to get back into, so hope you guys enjoyed. That's going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one tomorrow. take it easy. Yo, thank you guys so much for watching today's episode in EV365. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm putting out a new video every single day this year. Don't forget to click that bell icon as well so you get notified when it comes out. If you guys really enjoyed a video, you could also leave a like. That really helps out the channel to get the videos in suggested, and it's really good for channel growth. On top of that, if you are enjoying the videos and want to see some of these things get made live as they happen, I stream 5 days a week over on Twitch. Crazy stuff like this goes down very often. Boys!
Oh no, I know that noise. Oh, you have two!
I'm safe,
oh,
I'm safe,
safe.
I'm safe.
How much cash is that?
124 mil. Holy fuck. Muscles.
Disgusting.
Did you just fart?
Fucking disgusting.
And if you just want to keep up with my day-to-day wheelings and dealings, you can also follow me over on Twitter at EVscapeOfficial. All links will be in the description down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video tomorrow. Take it easy.
Oh my god, I bet you got killed by a fucking bear. Oh my god.